Welcome to Andasibe-Mantadia National Park. Established in 1989, this is a 155 square kilometer protected area located about 155 kilometers east of Antananarivo, the capital city of Madagascar. It consists principally of primary growth forest in the Alaotra-Mangoro region of eastern Madagascar. The park's elevation ranges from 800 to 1,260 meters and has a humid climate. Average annual precipitation is about 170 centimeters, with rainfall on 210 days of each year. This rainforest is habitat to a vast species biodiversity, including many endemic rare species and endangered species, most notably 11 of these being lemurs. The park's two component parts are Mantadia National Park and Analama-Zoatra Reserve, which is best known for its population of Madagascar's largest lemur, the Indri. Let's consider some of the biology of this iconic species of Andasibe-Mantadia National Park. The Indri is one of Madagascar's best-known creatures and is classified as the sole member of its genus within the Sifaka family. It occurs from central and northern portions of the eastern rainforest of Madagascar. It is also the heaviest living lemur. Although its color is variable, the Indri's size, short tail, and bushy ear tufts make it unmistakable. The voice is one of the world's great natural sounds. Groups start calling with a breathless hooting and then break into long, slurred, remarkably loud notes, almost deafening at close range. Indris are most vocal during the morning and in the wet season, but may call at any time, even during the night. Indris live in small groups of 2 to 6 individuals, with females seemingly being the dominant members. Like other members of the Sifaka family, it generally sits in a vertical position but is capable of incredibly powerful leaps through the forest. Indris eat leaves along with some fruit, flowers, seeds, bark, and a daily dose of soil. Females give birth every 2 to 3 years to a single infant, which is born in May or June. While the Indri is the largest living lemur, it is a reminder of Madagascar's lost megafauna. Indeed, at least 17 extinct lemur species have been identified from subfossils. All of these were larger than the Indri, some much larger. There were, for example, 3 species of koala lemurs, weighing as much as 187 pounds. In addition, a whole family of sloth lemurs existed. These sloth lemurs climbed through the trees upside down in sloth fashion and probably weighed almost as much as 440 pounds. Based upon fossils and other scientific evidence, here are 3 illustrations of these giant lemurs. Some evidence suggests that the sloth lemur may have gone extinct only about 500 years ago. It is believed humans, who came to Madagascar first about 2,000 years ago, caused the extinction of all of these very large lemurs. The Indri are about to start making their morning calls. Let's listen.
Oh, I see him. Oh, it's in the shot here. John.
While examining This particular lemur species, the Indri, let's reflect on lemur biology in general. Lemurs are small primates known as prosimians, which, roughly translated, means pre-primates or before monkeys. They are native only to the island of Madagascar and the neighboring Comoro Islands. Lemurs resemble the oldest ancestors of primates, which existed tens of millions of years ago. There is much that we do not know about the evolution of lemurs. However, we do have some basic information that has come to light. For example, it is believed that lemurs, which originated on the African continent, arrived in Madagascar about 40 to 50 million years ago. They were then able to evolve into the many extant and extinct species that have flourished since that time. As Madagascar was far from the African continent 40 to 50 million years ago, it is believed that the founding lemurs arrived by riding on rafts of wood and leaves. This may seem especially remarkable, but remember that lemurs are highly intelligent primates. Due to obstructing tree branches and leaves, it is often difficult to see the complete body of an Indri or any other lemur in its natural habitat. We can see the Indri rather clearly in this photograph.
Come here.
Indri are threatened by a number of factors. For example, illegal hunting is a major problem for the Indri in certain areas of Madagascar. Although long thought to be protected by local fadis, traditional taboos, these do not appear to be universal, and the animals are now hunted even in places where such tribal taboos do exist. In many areas, these taboos are breaking down with cultural erosion and immigration, and local people often find ways to circumvent taboos even if they are still in place. For example, a person for whom eating the Indri is forbidden may still hunt the animals for sale to others, while those who may be forbidden to kill Indris can purchase them for food. The principal threat to the Indri is habitat destruction for slash and burn agriculture, logging, and fieldwood gathering, all of which take place even within protected areas. CITES, the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, has listed the Indri as Appendix 1, meaning that it is one of 1,200 species that are especially in danger of extinction. One may well wonder if a captive breeding program could artificially boost Indri population numbers. However, all attempts to maintain Indris under zoo conditions have proven time and again that this species simply will not survive outside of its natural habitat. The lined day gecko is a colorful reptile species that occurs in many different habitats in Madagascar. Woolly lemurs are members of the family Indriidae, which also includes the Sifakas and the Indri. All Indriidae are characterized by vertical clinging and leaping behavior, resting upright against a support and moving through the forest in impressive leaps of up to 10 meters, 33 feet. The eastern woolly lemur seen here only occurs in Andasibe-Mantadia National Park. This disturbed ant nest had a flurry of activity. Look at the ants going all about the nest's surface in response to its having been bumped into. This nose-horned chameleon is a common species seen in Andasibe-Mantadia National Park. The common brown lemur is found in rainforests of the central and northern parts of the east, dry forests in the northwest, and forest fragments on Madagascar's high plateau. It has been introduced elsewhere. The common brown lemur is found in small to medium-sized groups, which feed on fruits, leaves, and flowers, often remaining in one small area. They are capable of rapid movement through the forest. Here we see a pair of common brown lemurs, nestling together on a tree branch. This common brown lemur appears to be especially well fed and particularly comfortable around human company. Although a wild animal living in Andasibe Park, he appears to have gotten very used to people. Probably he knows just how to act cute so as to get a handout. From a conservation perspective, this lemur is exhibiting highly undesirable behavior. Indeed, the old adage, "Don't feed the animals," is as true in Andasibe-Mantadia National Park as it is in any other natural preserve of the world.
What a display. Together from this side. Now.
This is a sighting of the rather large, to 12 inches long, Parsons chameleon. And here we see the nose-horned chameleon again. This was at night. This individual is probably about 1.5 inches to 2 inches long. Mouse lemurs are tiny nocturnal lemurs and include the smallest living primates in the world. They closely resemble the galagos or bush babies of Africa. Goodman's mouse lemur, seen here, is unique to Andasibe-Mantadia National Park. Like other mouse lemurs, it is active nocturnally and goes about foraging at night. Frogs such as this are a common sight during night walks. The striking and rather large elephant ear chameleon made for a striking sight during one of our night walks in the park. Leaf-tailed geckos, of which there are a number of species in Madagascar, are found in trees and are active at night. Look at the feet and tail of this leaf-tailed gecko. The name is most appropriate. Along with its coloration, it really blends in with this stick that it is standing upon. This particular individual would be very easily overlooked were it not for the highly trained eyes of our guide. The critically endangered Diademed Sifaka is endemic to certain rainforests in eastern Madagascar. The species is one of the world's largest living lemurs, with a total adult length of 41 inches, about half of which is its tail. Russell Mittermeier, one of the contemporary authorities on lemurs, describes the Diademed Sifaka as, quote, one of the most colorful and attractive of all the lemurs, unquote. Indeed, it has a very long silky coat, which we can quite clearly observe here. The Diademed Sifaka is readily distinguished from all the other lemur species by its characteristic markings and large physical size. Its entire coat is moderately long, silky, and luxuriant. The long white fur encircling its muzzle and covering its cheeks, forehead, and chin engenders the term diadem or crown appearance. Its eyes are reddish brown, the muzzle is short, and the face is bare with colorization of darkish gray to jet black. The crown fur is also quite black and often extends to the nape of the neck. The upper back and shoulder fur are slate grayish, although lower back is lighter in color, attaining a silvery quality. Flanks and tail are a paler gray, sometimes even white, as is the case for ventral fur. The male is distinguished from the female by having a large skin gland at the exterior center of the throat. This feature is typically reddish brown. The Diademed Sifaka is one of the most widely distributed members of the genus Propithecus, although definitive mapping of its range has not yet been conducted. It occurs at altitudes of about 700 to 2,700 feet throughout much of eastern Madagascar lowland forests, and altitudes of 2,600 to just over 5,000 feet in portions of the Madagascar subhumid forests. These two biomes have been designated as a Global 200 ecoregion, one of the world's most significant regions for conservation. Easily accessible from Madagascar's capital city of Antananarivo, Andasibe-Mantadia National Park is recognized as one of the best places to see the Diademed Sifaka. The Diademed Sifaka forms groups typically of 2 to 10 individuals, which may include multiple male and female adults. Each troop defends an exclusive home territory of 62 to 125 acres, using perimeter scent territorial marking by both the males and females. Although the Diademed Sifaka defends the group's territory strongly against other members of their same species, it will share territory with other species such as the red-bellied lemur and the common brown lemur. The Diademed Sifaka is thought to traverse the greatest daily path distance relative to other members of its family in its patrolling and foraging, attaining a typical travel distance in excess of 1 mile per day. To accomplish this, it consumes a diet high in energy content and diverse in plant content, each day consuming over 25 different vegetative species. This diurnal lemur further diversifies its diet by consuming not only fruits, but certain flowers, seeds, and verdant leaves, in proportions that vary by season. For a large lemur, the Diademed Sifaka is rather athletic, being capable of lateral aerial propulsion of up to 30 kilometers per hour. That's about 19 miles per hour. This is the result of muscular leg thrusting action pushing off from a vertical tree trunk. It is possible, although not proven, that its vigorous health characteristics are enhanced from high consumption of 2 plants which contain high concentrations of alkaloids. This species, of course, is arboreal and only rarely seen on the ground. Moreover, it is a vertical clinger and lateral leaper. The Diademed Sifaka makes a warning call resembling the sound kiss-sneeze when a terrestrial predator is perceived. The only terrestrial predators of the Diademed Sifaka are the fossa, a predatory mammal, and the Nile crocodile. Sexual maturity occurs after age 2 or 3, with the male maturing somewhat more slowly than the female. Little is known of mating behavior. However, it is believed that the female is receptive to mating only a few days per year. Being dominant, the female has the greatest input to mate selection. Copulation occurs in the summer, which is around December in Madagascar, and the expected number of births is 1 offspring per female per annum. As mentioned earlier, the Diademed Sifaka is classified as being critically endangered, and it is on the IUCN Red List. It is also listed in CITES Appendix 1. As of the year 2002, population estimates for this species range between 6,000 and 10,000 individuals. The primary threat is habitat reduction due to shifting cultivation by native peoples. This threat is also present even within designated national parks, which are sufficiently distant from the center of government, such that enforcement of existing national laws protecting the Diademed Sifaka habitat is problematic. Pressures of overpopulation in central and eastern Madagascar are causing many of the rural poor to seek subsistence by seizing whatever forest lands are available and undertaking slash-and-burn tactics as their initial step in a shifting cultivation system. It is notable that returns from such land are usually meager, yielding small amounts of charcoal, firewood, or grass crop for grazing zebu, Madagascar cattle. Note here that this particular female is radio-collared. She and the rest of the members of this group are undoubtedly part of a research project, aimed, of course, at better understanding the biology of this unique species. In 2006, A reintroduction translocation project was initiated to reintroduce the Diademed Sifaka back into Andasibe-Mantadia National Park. The aim was to take Diademed Sifakas from threatened areas where habitat loss meant the incumbent population was unsustainable and relocate them to the relative safety of the special preserve. The program followed the IUCN Reintroduction Translocation Guidelines, with family group monitoring before and after translocation. By 2014, this project had reintroduced 3 groups making up 26 Diademed Sifaka and 8 black and white ruffed lemur into the park. The project's multidisciplinary team tracked the reintroduced groups by using radio collars and collected fecal samples to evaluate biomedical, genetic, habitat, nutritional, and reproductive characteristics of the lemurs. The project has so far been very successful, and visitors to this popular reserve have been lucky enough to see 2 generations of babies born at the park. The project also helps the local community by education and provides 2 local guides. Here we see another example of the fascinating leaf-tailed gecko. The shape of its head seems curiously similar to that of a Tyrannosaurus rex. We encounter the eastern woolly lemur again, but now at night when it's more active. Notice the large owl-like eyes of this species, which are very effective for night vision. Eastern woolly lemurs live in monogamous pairs together with their offspring. The eastern woolly lemur's breeding season ranges from March to May, with the baby lemurs being born around August to September. The genus name, Avahi, of the eastern woolly lemur refers to their high-pitched defensive call. The specific name, Laniger, refers to their thick, tightly curled hair. The rainforests of Madagascar in general seem to have their share of attractive tree frog species. This approximately 4-inch long, attractive lady was seen on the rafters of a building one evening. We again encounter the Parsons chameleon, but this time at night. Note that prehensile tail. The Madagascar scops owl is fairly common throughout Madagascar in most wooded habitats, from primary forest to heavily disturbed scrub. Two subspecies are recognized, the western and the eastern. The eastern subspecies has a red and a gray morph. We are seeing the red morph here, of course. The Madagascar scops owl hunts mostly at night from a perch, but will also catch moths on the wing. It roosts during the day, hidden in dense foliage on a branch or next to the tree trunk. It feeds on a variety of invertebrates, such as grasshoppers, beetles, moths, and spiders. It will also occasionally take small vertebrates. Little is known about the reproductive biology of the Madagascar scops owl. It is known, however, that it will lay 3 to 4 white eggs in a tree trunk, this occurring from November to December. Another mouse lemur seen in Andasibe-Mantadia National Park is the rufous mouse lemur. This particular individual, however, seemed only interested in showing me his backside. We will, however, get to see a little bit of his profile towards the end of this video segment. It is notable, though perhaps not surprising, that the voice of mouse lemurs in general is high-pitched, squeaky, and rather rodent-like. Mouse lemurs feed mainly on fruit, supplemented with invertebrates and tree gum. Can you please turn just a little, there you go, and give us that profile?
Azutona patinu terenia okanyamba wanyo Nitanura tumardita kana tefalasa nyundrano Refa vitini anjara kuteluto Teutunga somansaranya Zaza tukana nefa kusare Okiani nyamba andeyo Tupirana nya